I was gonna come up here and make a video telling you how Anthony Edwards will be the next king of the NBA and how he's better than prime Kobe Bryant. I'm still gonna make that video, but I'm gonna include a big caveat in it. If we take into context Anthony Edwards' 2024 playoff run, where he dismantled the Suns, is currently right now engaged in a 7-game series with last year's championship winning team, the Denver Nuggets. I'm recording this at 3:22 p.m. Eastern time on May 19th. So literally the game is tonight. We're gonna find out if the game's tonight. I'm trying to play the algorithm, you know. It would favor me a little bit if the Timberwolves do end up winning and Edwards drops like 40-50 points, because then video titled King Edwards or whatever I call it, hey, that would do great. Right, but I wanna subvert y'all expectations. Y'all are expecting me to come here and tell y'all how he's better than Kobe, and that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna subvert it. So I guess I'm not subversing your expectations that much, but I'm still gonna subvert it. We're gonna break it down into the numbers, okay? We're gonna get into the nitty gritty right here. How's Anthony Edwards better currently, right now in the playoffs, in the 2024 playoffs, playing better than Kobe Bryant? Are you crazy? Are you on crack? I'm not crazy though, because the numbers back it up. So here's the one question we have to ask ourselves. What is prime Kobe Bryant? I like to think when Kobe won his rings in 2009 and 2010, I like to think those 2 years were his prime, because those were the years that he was able to go on and win the championship, the thing he was trying to accomplish ever since Shaq had left. So I like to personally think those are his prime years. I think most people would agree. I think most Lakers fans would agree. So I took 2008, 2009, 2009, and 2010. I took those 2 seasons, got his playoff stats. These are the championship winning stats. And I threw Kobe a bone in there, right? His field goal percentage, his efficiency wasn't the best. So I went ahead and grabbed his 2005, 2006 season, which is his most efficient postseason run ever, where his field goal percentage, he was 49%, 40% from the 3-point line, and 58 true shooting, right? A lot of people say, yo, Kobe was not efficient. He was efficient in the playoffs, though. Let me tell you that right now. He was very efficient in the playoffs. I took his most efficient season and then the 2 seasons where he won a championship without Shaq. And I think that you combine those 2 things, you give him the efficiency and the numbers that, you know, the man was putting up. And yeah, you can make a good argument this was prime Kobe, right? Anthony Edwards in his 2024 season, I'm gonna place the stats, and I'm gonna highlight in green the stats where he played better, where he's averaging more than Kobe is. He's averaging 30.2 points, which is more, 5.8 assists, 6 rebounds, 0.7 blocks, 1.7 steals, 53 field goal percentage, 42 from 3, and 65 true shooting percentage. And also when you get all of Ant's stats from the 2024 playoff run and all of Kobe's stats from these playoff runs that I mentioned, his 2 rings and his 2005-2006 postseason run, and you compare them on the per 100 possessions and per 36 minutes, it also, Anthony Edwards leads in most of those categories I just mentioned. So yeah, across the board, 2024 Anthony Edwards within the playoffs is playing at a higher level than prime Kobe was. Is he better than prime Kobe Bryant? No. And this is kind of where like the caveat part is inserted. We've seen a lot of media, a lot of people, a lot of NBA YouTubers talk about how we should kind of slow down with these comparisons. And I agree. I truly agree. I'm not trying to get sappy, man, but there's a good quote from Theodore Roosevelt that said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Now, you're probably thinking like, you just spent the last few minutes comparing his stats to Kobe's stats. How you gonna say comparisons are bad? You just compared them. You're a hypocrite. And I mean, I kind of am, but I think stats are good as a reference point, right? Let me show you how this guy is playing by showing you the stats of some of the greatest people in their prime and showing you, hey, look, they're close, or they're playing just as good, if not better. But what people do is that even though right now Anthony Edwards is playing at a slightly better level statistically, just numbers wise, and there's a lot of advanced statistics like VORP, where if you look at the VORP, Kobe had a much higher VORP than Anthony Edwards did, and there's some advanced statistics where Kobe does beat Anthony Edwards, but I'm talking just base stats. I do think Anthony Edwards is at least comparable this postseason to Kobe in a lot of ways. But does that mean that he will have the career Kobe did? No, that doesn't mean that. Does it mean he'll be as good as Kobe was? No, that does not mean that. And a lot of people always like to play the comparison game. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with using stats as a reference to show, hey, look how good this current player is playing when you compare the stats of that current player. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's when you use that to then extrapolate his entire career and think, oh, that's what he's going to be. He's going to be better than Kobe. So now if Anthony Edwards doesn't have the career Kobe Bryant has, it's a disappointment. That's just not right. No one should be expected to have Kobe Bryant's career. There's a reason why he is Kobe Bryant. There's a reason why Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. To this day, most people call LeBron a failure, even though LeBron's had one of the most successful careers in NBA history. Most people say he's number 2, and arguably a lot of people will still, a decent percent of people still argue he's number 1. LeBron's career should be celebrated, okay? Just like all these great players. And here's the thing, Booker got the same comparisons to Kobe. Tatum got the same comparisons to Kobe. A lot of these players keep getting compared to Kobe and MJ. And I did the same thing right now. I'm guilty of it. I think there's nothing wrong with showing, hey, this person currently in the right now is doing just as good as that player was at that moment. There's nothing wrong with that. To me, is expectations and then thinking like, well, if he's playing as good as Kobe was now, just statistically on numbers, oh, he should be better than Kobe, or he should be as good as Kobe when everything is said and done. And that's where I think it's wrong. Let's use stats correctly, okay? Let's compare players, what they're doing now versus what other players were doing in those moments, right? And obviously, everything's going to need context. Anthony Edwards is playing on a much better team that has a lot more depth than most of Kobe's teams after Shaq left, right? So we have to keep that in mind as well. This man's playing with a great team and a great system. So let's keep that in mind. Next year, because I'm scared that what's going to happen next year is that Ant's not going to have the greatest start to the season. Because if y'all watch Ant doesn't like to play. Anthony Edwards is a huge playoff riser, okay? So sometimes he'll take a game off. If he feel like his team has the game already won, he's not going to drop 40. I've seen him drop 8-10 points and call it a night because his team got this already. So I feel like people are going to take those Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan comparisons and think, oh, this man in the regular season is going to be averaging 40, 50 points. When again, that's not his game. In fact, his play style, being a Skywalker, being a player that can elevate himself high off the ground, it's a very dangerous archetype of player because those players, even though he doesn't rely on them, he does it a lot. So again, that play style comes with a lot of risk, right? So I actually think it's better that Anthony Edwards plays that type of style where in the regular season he can take off some games. And he's cool because he doesn't sit the games entirely. He'll play, he'll just drop 8 to 10 points. He just won't give it his all unless his team needs it, right? And I think that's a smart way to play, especially when you have a good team behind you. He's not only is he playing with a good team, he's leveraging the fact that he has a good team to not have to, waste, get injured in the regular season or put himself at risk. He might not have a great regular season next year, and that's fine. And he might not be the next Kobe Bryant, and that's fine as well. If he is, great, amazing. And if he isn't, but he still ends up being just as good, it still ends up being a Hall of Famer, great. If he doesn't end up being a Hall of Famer, but ends up being in the Hall of Very Good, again, that's still good. We need to learn to celebrate people for being good. I understand the top is the goal for everybody involved, but not everybody's going to get there. It's the top for a reason. The number one spot is the number one spot for a reason. It is hard to obtain. And just because somebody doesn't obtain it doesn't mean they're a failure. Will Anthony Edwards be better than Kobe? I don't know. And I don't care. And that's the only thing that matters. You enjoy watching him play? Keep watching him. And that's it. Peace.